the capital area, which is a public health nonprofit in Hallowell and houses the Maine Farm and Sea Institution Network. And myself, along with my coworker, Alita, we co-coordinate the Maine Farm and Sea to School Network. And so with that, I'll pass it off to you, Alita.
Thanks, Sarah, and thanks for everybody for coming today. As Sarah mentioned, my name is Alita Peterson, and I am the co-coordinator of the Maine Farm and Sea to School Institute, which is a project of the Maine Farm and Sea to Institution Network housed at Healthy Communities of the Capital Area. And just super excited to be going into our fourth year. I will pass it off to Martha to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Alita. Welcome, everyone. My name is Martha Poliquin. I use she, her pronouns. I'm one of the Institute organizers, and I currently have a role with the Department of Education, Child Nutrition Services. Gray, you're up.
Hey everyone, I'm Gray Albany. I'm the outdoor education coordinator from Seedlings to Sunflowers in Gorham, and I was the team captain last year and participated in the Institute, and it was just an amazing experience. So, wanted to share that. And I'm gonna pass it on to.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Robin Kerber with Full Plates, Full Potential, and have been involved with the Institute since we started it here in Maine and was a coach 2 years ago for RSU 49, which is up in the Fairfield area of Maine.
Awesome. Next slide for us, Sarah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get into speaking to what the Institute is all about in depth. But before we do that, I just want to shout out all the amazing partners who are part of our Institute Planning Committee and contracted to work with us. We couldn't do it without all of these representatives up on the screen here. And next slide. Also, big shout out to our funders. We are currently funded by the USDA's Farm to School Implementation Grant Program, Full Plates, Full Potential, and Shelburne Farms. All right, so the Maine Farm and Sea to School Institute is a year-long professional development program for school food system change. The Institute brings school teams together to build relationships, skills, and collaborative action plans for farm and sea to school programming. So with the support of a coach, teams spend the Institute year connecting what we call the 3 Cs. That's classroom, cafeteria, and community. And the timeline of that year-long professional development program, it really starts now. So right now is a great time to be building your school or school district team and submitting an application, which are on our website if you haven't checked those out yet. From there, you want to build a team that really has well-rounded representation from those 3 Cs. So folks in school nutrition, school administration, educators, teachers, other school staff or community members to round out that school team. You'll use the Farm and Sea to School rubric to assess where you're at in your Farm and Sea to School journey as sort of a springboard for your application. The Institute Planning Committee reviews those applications, and accepted teams come together in July for a 3-day immersive experience at the Institute's kickoff event, which is called the Academy Program. At the Academy Program, which Martha will speak in depth to in a little bit, your team will take part in lots of different educational and team building activities. You'll work with your coach to craft a unique Farm and Sea to School action plan that will serve as your sort of North Star and guiding light throughout your Institute year. Throughout that year, you'll also be meeting regularly with your coach to support those goals that you've set. You'll have the chance to connect with other professionals that are a part of the Institute and identify with your sector in these community of practice calls. So, for example, classroom teachers from a bunch of different schools who are participating in the Institute can come together and group problem solve and share successes and move forward in your action plans together that way. And then this year we're introducing a new aspect, which is a Institute alumni conference that's going to be held in October. And that's just another chance for Institute teams to get together to continue their Farm and Sea to School professional development and networking, and stay motivated and excited about Farm and Sea to School. Throughout that Institute year, you'll receive TA not only from your coach, but also technical assistance from many of our partners who offer school garden or curriculum integration with Farm and Sea to School, and nutrition, local food procurement services as well. At the end of the Institute year, we'll come back together for a closing ceremony and celebration where everybody has the chance to share out their accomplishments from their Institute year. And then after that, you join a network of Institute teams who have gone through this process and come back together annually for that alumni conference and continue to be a part of this fantastic Farm and Sea to School network that we have here in Maine. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Martha to dig a little bit deeper into what that 3-day academy program is all about. Oh, and that's a sort of a visual of the timeline that I just described, and that can be found on our website. Thank you, Sarah, for popping that in the chat.
All right. Thank you, Alita. And thanks for that great overview of the whole Institute year. So I'll talk a little bit in a little more detail about the 3-day academy program that really kicks off your Institute year. And those dates are already set for the ecology school at Riverbend Farm in Saco. This 3-day overnight retreat is really, as Alita said, it's very immersive. We really pack these 3 days with a lot for the teams to do. The academy program, this retreat, is a requirement of participating in the Institute. It doesn't really, we've had some team members who've commuted with some mixed results around that, but really we're looking for folks to come and spend this time together, and I promise you will not regret it. The ecology school at Riverbend Farm in Saco has these dormitory style lodging, and you will be fed very well. All meals are provided. A lot of the produce comes right from the farm fields there or are sourced locally. That's a prime directive of the ecology school. And really one of the primary goals of the whole academy program is that your team is together and you're going to create this very personalized farm and sea action plan that will be all about what you decide you want for your school and your community. Built into that are at least 7 to 8 hours of formal scheduled team time, what we call team time, where you sit with your team. You're going to have lots of conversations. Your coach will help guide and facilitate that time, but that's where you're really going to sit and think about and make plans around what you want to do to integrate the cafeteria, the classroom, and your community into your Farm and Sea to School program. There will be workshops around those 3 C's, hands-on activities. There will be plenaries. There'll be various speakers addressing the 3 C's. You will hear from many of the partners that you saw on that slide, that will tell you what they have to offer your schools and your community. You will connect with them. One of the things I think about a lot, which is really fun, is the Maine Dairy and Nutrition Council and their Adopt a Cow program. So, or Adopt a Calf. You'll learn more about that, and that's really a blast for the schools that have taken that on. You will have opportunities to network with your peers. So other cafeteria and school nutrition workers can get together and talk about the things they do or some of the obstacles and challenges that they face in trying to incorporate Farm and Sea to School into their programs. There will be panels of guest speakers. Last year we had the University of Maine Cooperative Extension Service come and talk about all the programming and resources they have to offer that really schools can use around their school gardens. Again, everything in this program, these 3 days, is to give you lots of ideas and information and inspiration to dream really big when planning your Farm and Sea to School program. We really want you to think outside of the box, and this 3-day academy program really gives you that opportunity to get to know each other on your team and think about really dream big, as I said, about what you want your Farm and Sea to School program to look like.
Thank you, Martha. So, as you are probably sensing, the Institute program is pretty in depth, right? It's a very impactful program because it is so unique and tailored to the needs of these individual schools or school districts. And it's our mission to reach every district in the state of Maine with our impactful program. So, we, as you can see, have several folks who have been a part of the Institute or are currently part of the Institute. We accept schools as individuals. So, for example, this past cohort, we had Cherryfield Elementary School, a school of 100 kiddos, alongside Westbrook School Department, a whole urban district with over 1,000 students in it. And newly, we are also open to early childhood education centers. That's a part of the growing Farm to ECE movement. And we actually have a great spokesperson here today. Gray, as he has introduced himself already, is part of the Seedlings to Sunflowers ECE team who joined us at the Academy program this summer and continues to be a part of our institute this year. So Gray, I'm going to turn it over to you to speak a little bit about your experience as a team member.
I would be honored. Hi again, everybody. So, Farm to Sea was probably one of the most impactful professional development experiences I've ever had. And I've worked in EC for the past 15 years. And I have, with the time and energy that we had at the Institute and the ecology school, had such an amazing outcome so far. I work for a nonprofit program in Gorham, and Farm to Sea has helped us just establish a network with so many individuals and network with organizations that share ethos to us. And with that, like, we had the opportunity and time, which I know all of us, if you're in classrooms, ever never have time to actually collaborate with your peers and colleagues. And the Institute opens up that avenue, and it's a real beautiful thing. And Martha said it earlier, they feed you not just well, extremely well. I was never gone to anything like Farm to Sea, and I can't say anything other than like praise the whole experience. The speakers that came were super impactful, and that was huge. But also just like the experience itself. And I will say, I highly recommend, if you do join next year's Farm to Sea Institute, that you all stay overnight at the ecology school. because that time with your colleagues is going to make you so much closer, but also it's going to give you this opportunity to know more about people you work with all the time than you ever would be, but also you're going to be able to collaborate with that new connections you make there. Uh, my program with our energy and plan that we're working on and our amazing coach Marissa, who's here. Hi, Marissa. Uh, we took the ball and ran with it. And when Alita said dream big, like if you can create an idea and actually find a way to implement it, they'll give you all the tools necessary. My school this year has decided to use, we opened a community play space as a fundraising arm because we're a nonprofit. And one of our big things we did was we're in the works of creating a CSA drop-off site with Daybreak Growers Alliance to have community members from our school and from the local Southern Maine area come to our location to pick up their CSA produce. And that's been huge. We also have been in talks with Richard Hodges from Retreat Us, which is a really amazing organization, about planting an orchard at our school. And all I want to say is I hope to see more ECE involvement. It was an honor to be the first test run for ECE. And if I had the opportunity to go back to this program, I wouldn't think twice. And I want to just thank everyone, Lita, Martha. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity because Seedlings has done nothing but thrive with this. So can't thank you guys enough.
Thank you, Gray. Yeah, it's been a pleasure working with you, and it's so exciting to see the progress that you guys have made this year. We also have Robin Kerber here, who's going to speak a little bit to the coaching experience. Take it away, Robin.
Yeah, so being a coach was an absolute blast, first of all. And, starting off by meeting for the first time my team at the in-person academy and, very quickly becoming close with all of them and working through and supporting their goals and coming up with their action plan during that time together over the summer really created a great foundation to build upon once the school year started. And, schools and, because we have team members who are working in the cafeteria, in the classroom, and in the administration, everybody is just very, very busy. So we found that meeting monthly as a team really helped kind of keep the momentum going and, finding that time together to reassess and look at our goals was really helpful for the group. And one of the exciting things that my team did was in the fall, we hosted a community dinner. And so what that was is it was a great opportunity to really build relationships within the community with farmers, with local businesses, with parents and guardians, with other teachers and students, and create doors of opportunity for people outside of our team to see what Farm and Sea to School looks like in their district. And so that was not only a really fun event with great food, but we also, we built really great relationships and also were able to share sort of more broadly, what is the Farm and Sea to School Institute and what are our team goals and how can people outside of that group get involved with this really exciting projects. And so we saw, every month, like I said, we would meet. And by the end of the school year, I think our team had grown to about 3 times that size, just with, support from janitorial staff and other teachers. And so that was really exciting to see. And that's really what it's about, is creating a culture and not having the Farm and Sea to School enthusiasm come from maybe just 1 or 2 people at the district, but really become part of the culture. And so being a coach, I really wanted to basically just be a convener and, keep the work moving forward and support them and introduce them to granting and funding opportunities and, curriculum that they can take advantage of in the classrooms and just having sort of a broad perspective of what's going on in the state and to be able to bring that to my team and say, what do you think about, looking into this? Or what do you think about reaching out to Richard and getting an orchard or taking advantage of this grant funding? Because we've talked about, wanting to do this project. So yeah, kind of like the glue for the first year. And then it was fun at the end of my time with them to step back and see that they had a lot of goals for year two and know that they had the momentum to keep going.
Thanks, Robin. So awesome to get a little behind the scenes peek into the coaching experience there. Appreciate that. Um, Martha, would you want to speak a little bit to the benefits that are for school nutrition as part of this program?
Absolutely. For those of you that don't know, I am a retired school nutrition director. So I have had many years in school nutrition, and in particular, really implementing Farm and Sea to School in a school nutrition program. And one of the most important benefits for us has been making these connections between the school nutrition program and classroom teachers and administration and the community so that we are not operating in a silo and only seen as the school lunch program or the place where teachers come when they need paper plates and forks for a birthday party or celebration in their classroom. So it's really this whole program and opportunity is about uplifting the school nutrition program within your schools and your school community, building these relationships between the classroom, the cafeteria, and your administration. It builds a lot of support for your program. Your community has a better understanding of what your goals are and how you're feeding students and how Farm and Sea to School is really benefiting your entire community. Let's see. Also, something kind of new at the moment is a program with the DOE. It's the Regional Local Foods Project. And there are coordinators who are working with school nutrition programs in the various superintendent regions in the state. And so participants in the Institute will also get a little extra boost working with those coordinators. Participating in this program definitely counts towards training and professional development hours for school nutrition staff, and can also help school nutrition programs get additional local food funds by participating in a training. There's an extra $500 that can go towards your local food funds. And again, it's creating this Farm and Sea to School action plan can really help you focus in on your goals towards what percentage of your food budget you want to spend on local foods, how you want to promote that. Do you want to have taste tests for students? Do you want to bring farmers in to talk to students? Do you want to make connections with the classroom so the students know where their food comes from and they don't just think that carrots are little things that come out of bags and are already carved in these little things, really understanding our food system and where their food comes from.
Awesome. Thank you, Martha. All right. Let's get a little bit into the nitty-gritty here. We got to talk commitment. So I know we're all busy, just like Robin said. It's hard to find time. But I will stress that it's incredibly important to have that buy-in from your whole team, from those classroom representatives, from your cafeteria representatives, from your community and admin. Throughout the year, time commitment is fairly low. You're going to be connecting with your team to further your action plan. It's not a huge lift. We've got a mid-year check-in that folks are able to come to if possible. And of course, that end-of-year celebration where people get to share their successes and reconnect. But otherwise, it's not a tremendous lift. What is imperative is attendance of all of your teammates at the academy program. It's been stressed. We can't stress it enough. It's a really important cornerstone of this program. and you won't want to miss it. Trust me, it's a really fun time. So it's just, yeah, important to understand that while this program is a ton of fun and it's also a commitment, you are investing in yourself and you are investing in the future of a sustainable program at your school community. So to have that staff buy-in and commitment from your whole team is incredibly important. There is a $900 program fee, which covers all of the costs of participation for your entire team, and is a real bargain compared to many different PD offerings that schools often have access to. You know, it's a 3-day program, so you're getting over 20 hours of professional development hours in there. And we just recommend that you speak to your superintendent or business manager or curriculum coordinator if you're having a hard time drumming up those funds. There is an option here for scholarships if that continues to be a barrier. Lastly, on the commitment piece, we ask that you take part in the evaluation. We have very robust evaluation that's conducted by our partners at the University of Maine that sort of take a pre-survey based on your Farm and Sea to School rubric. So you've got to fill that out for your application anyway. And then we check back in at the end of the year with a focus group to see how this program has impacted your Farm and Sea to School efforts around some major categories like local food procurement, ag education curriculum in the classroom, and staying power. So what have you done to set up your program so that it can sustain over the course of many years beyond the institute year itself? All right, and next slide. Martha, I think this is you to talk about how to build a team.
All right. Thank you, Alita. Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. And you might be sitting there going, oh, build a team. How do I do that? First, let me say there are, as Alita has mentioned, there are two types of teams that we will absolutely consider. One way to do this is to be a school-based team. So even if you're just one school within a larger district, you could apply as a team just representing that particular school. You can also apply as a district-wide team that would then have members that might come from different schools within your district. What we're looking for is representation from the cafeteria or your school nutrition program, the classroom, the community, and administration. This is all about everybody working together, the buy-in, and creating the plan that really brings all of these constituents together. You can also have on your team, you could have a local business person, a school board member, a school nurse, a garden manager, a librarian. So in addition to at least a representative from those 4 areas, cafeteria, classroom, community, administration, you can have a couple of other team members. Now, the team that comes to the academy program is limited to just 6 members, but that does not mean that once you get back to your district or your school, you can't add, we encourage you to add more members to your team because, the more heads together, the more ideas, the grander and the greater and the easier it'll be to implement your program. So anybody can take the lead in building a team. This does not have to come from any one sector in your community. It could be the school nutrition person. It could be a community member. Some of you folks on this call maybe are strong advocates in your school community. You're an organization. You could be someone who starts to drum up interest in building a team. So it doesn't have to come from any one particular person. We recommend that you look for the champions in your school. Look for the folks who maybe have been talking about starting a school garden. who are maybe are already doing something in a classroom, maybe have already connected with Maine Ag in the classroom and do the Read Me Maine program in March. So look for folks who maybe are already champions around Farm and Sea to School in your district. Again, we're really looking for buy-in and commitment. So as you are approaching folks to join your team, let them know about the 3-day academy program and make sure that they're available and they understand the commitment to attend that. Really reach out to your school administration to make sure you've got some buy-in from them. If you apply as a school-based team, we will be looking for signed commitment from the school nutrition director and an administrator if they aren't part of your team already. Because, these folks are the folks that are big decision makers about your programs. And if a kitchen manager comes and participates and goes back and is all excited about doing taste testing and more local procurement, and your school nutrition director is not on board, you're going to have a harder time. So we're looking for making sure that there is commitment by those folks who are going to help make the big decisions. We need them to have buy-in if they're not already on your team, which we highly encourage. And certainly if you have other questions about how to build a team, who can come and how to do that, ask those questions at the end of this webinar or email any of us with those questions and we can help you figure that out.
Okay, just a little bit more about the application process. So, as I mentioned before, that Farm and Sea to School rubric is really going to be the launch pad for your application. On the rubric, you're going to see some different sections that you can assess yourself on around the cafeteria. So do you have school nutrition staff leadership that's excited about local food procurement? What level are you at with your values-based local food procurement? The next section is really about the classroom and how you have or perhaps have not successfully integrated Farm and Sea to School or food systems education into your curriculum, so that the teachers and educators are empowered to utilize school gardens or the resources available to them for agriculture education. And then the next category is really about community. So that's engaging local businesses or farmers, organizations. A lot of teams have found great partners in their local hardware store who wants to donate shovels to their school garden program, or a local bank who wants to sponsor their raised garden beds initiatives, and organizations like that. Along in that community category comes family engagement. Are there recipes going home with kids to share with families? Are you doing any kind of harvest dinners at your school for families? And then, of course, farmer connections. Maybe you're doing farm field trips, or farmers are coming to your school to do a taste test or teach kids in the classroom about tapping maple trees, etc. And we have one final category. The fourth section is about integration and staying power. So what have you done to ensure that your Farm and Sea to School program will stay strong for the long haul? Do you have that well-rounded buy-in from the 3 C's, working towards that culture, like Robin mentioned, of Farm and Sea to School? So, thank you, Sarah. And then I just want to note that while the rubric is the springboard for your application, we are not judging you on where you're at in your farm and sea to school journey. We are happy to work with teams who are coming in at ground zero with not a lot of experience in this area, but are really motivated to build up their program. We also work with school teams who seem to be going above and beyond already, but want to take their programming to the next level. What we're looking for when we are selecting institute teams is that that representation from all those three C's is their buy-in across the board. We're looking for readiness and enthusiasm. Are you excited about Farm and Sea to School? Do you have ideas about where you want to take your program? Reach is also something that we consider. If you recall back to that map of where all of our Farm and Sea to School institute teams have come from in the past, we've got some gaps there. We want to fill the state of Maine with all those arrows and reach every corner of the state with this programming. And we're also considering needs. So there are some teams who apply who have particular challenges. Maybe they have a challenge with their rurality and getting local food, the typical distribution routes to come up to their neck of the woods. Maybe there's a team who applies who has a challenge of meeting the needs of their culturally diverse student population with relevant foods. So we consider that as a part of our selection criteria as well. Next steps, I'm going to turn over to Sarah to talk a little bit about where we're at in our application process and how to move forward. You're muted.
Thank you. Thanks, Lita. All right, so applications are officially open, and they will be open until the deadline of March 14th. So you have until then to submit the application, and from now until then, you'll be working on building your school team and using the rubric to complete that application. You can find the application on our website, which I'll link into the chat in a minute, mainfarmtoschool.org/application. There's a lot of links on our website, so it'll be easy to find. Thanks, Lita, for putting that in the chat. And the application is really thorough and will provide you with lots of information to support you during the process. But of course, Alita and I and other folks are available to support you as you complete the application. And then they'll be assessed and reviewed based on the criteria that Alita spoke to. We'll announce selected teams around the first week of April. And of course, if you're not selected for this year, we do highly encourage folks to apply the next application period. We're so excited to continue this program and get as many schools involved. After that, selected teams, you'll pay the $900 program fee by May 15th. And Alita spoke to this, but scholarships are available. So if you're interested, please reach out. And from there, we're off to the races in June. You'll be paired with a coach and attend the academy in Saco. So we're just really excited to be continuing this program. And we just want to encourage folks to share this information with anyone who might be interested and encourage them to apply. So this is our contact information for me and Alita. Please reach out, and thank you all so much for being here. We'll put this recording up on our website for you all to share and rewatch it if you have any questions. So that concludes our presentation.